It started with a scream in the hallway. Students froze. Backpacks slumped off shoulders. Whispers traveled faster than footsteps. At the center of it all stood Hannah, quiet, shy, invisible Hannah, with her collar clutched in the hands of the school's worst bullies. What happened next no one could believe. A blur. A twist. A scream, not hers. The bully's wrist snapped back in a painful arc, body folding, knees hitting the tiled floor. Hannah just stood there, her hands still midair, eyes calm. It hadn't always been this way. Hana Kimura had spent most of her school life trying not to be seen. She walked the edge of hallways, spoke in whispers, and sat in corners. Her voice was soft, and her presence quieter than silence. At home, she had only her mother, who worked 2 jobs and always came home exhausted. Her father, once a black belt in Judo, had passed away years ago in an accident. The only thing he'd left behind was a photograph of him in his white GI, smiling proudly with a tiny Hannah in his arms. For years, she'd kept her pain buried under silence. At school, things were worse. There were always people like Mia and her group, loud, sharp, cruel girls who fed on weakness. Hannah's shy demeanor made her an easy target. They shoved her, called her names, knocked her books to the ground. She never fought back. She'd just pick everything up again quietly, ignoring the sting in her chest. But one day changed everything. It was a rainy Friday. Hannah had stayed late to clean the classroom. When she stepped into the hallway, it was nearly empty, except for Mia and her group. They blocked her path, laughing as always. "Where do you think you're going, mouse?" Mia sneered, stepping closer. Hannah lowered her head, trying to pass. Mia's hand shot out, gripping Hannah's collar roughly. "You deaf too?" That was when something snapped, not in her collar, but in Hannah. She remembered her father's voice from an old video. "In Judo, we don't fight to hurt. We fight to protect. Even silence has strength." Before she knew it, her body moved on its own. Her hand grabbed Mia's wrist, pivoted, twisted. Her foot planted firmly as she pulled Mia's arm across her body. It was perfect. A Kotegaeshi wrist lock. 1 second, Mia was towering. The next, she was on her knees, gasping in pain, her wrist bent at an unnatural angle. Time froze. Gasps echoed down the hallway. Mia's friends took a step back, stunned. Hannah didn't gloat. She didn't yell. She let go, straightened her uniform, and walked away. But the story doesn't end there. That moment sparked something in Hannah. That weekend, she went to the old judo dojo her father once trained at. It had cobwebs and dust, but it also had memories. She bowed at the entrance, tears in her eyes. A retired sensei recognized her immediately. "Kimura-san's daughter," he asked gently. From that day forward, she trained. Each evening, after school, she practiced in silence. Her body ached. Her arms trembled. But every lock, every throw, every fall made her stronger, not just in muscle, but in heart. The quiet girl who once shrank from the world began to rise, slowly and steadily. At school, whispers spread fast. Some laughed, some watched. Most stayed away. Even Mia, now wearing a wrist brace, avoided eye contact. But it wasn't revenge Hannah wanted. It was peace. Still, peace rarely lasts forever. A month later, in the same hallway, another girl, a younger student, was cornered. Hannah saw it happen. The same group. The same sneers. The same fear in the girl's eyes. Hannah stepped forward. Mia turned. "What, here to show off again?" "No," Hannah said quietly. "I'm here to stop you." Another hand grabbed for her. Another throw. Another cry of pain as a body hit the floor, not out of hatred, but from precision. This time, teachers saw. The hallway filled with phones, eyes, voices. But this time, Hannah didn't walk away. She helped the younger girl up and walked with her to class. Later, the school called her mother. But instead of scolding, they praised Hannah. Students began greeting her with nods of respect. The same teachers who once looked past her now saw her clearly. A quiet hero. A guardian in uniform. And the dojo. It flourished. Other quiet kids joined. Those who were once afraid to raise their voices found strength in discipline, in movement, in silence. Years later, Hana Kimura stood where her father once stood, in a GI, teaching others, reminding them. Strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers. And sometimes, it waits, until the moment it's truly needed. Her journey was never about hurting anyone. It was about Finn.